two, one.
Hey, Dom, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you, man? Where the hell are you?
Greetings from Ohio. Actually, Ohio, not Ohio State, but it is Ohio State. I am in the state of Ohio. So yep, I'm sitting outside and enjoying.
Well,
It's a little warm, but
it looks beautiful where you are. I gotta tell
it,
you.
it really is. It really is. I mean, lots of songbirds out there and nice pool. I'm staying with my friends, and it's pretty wonderful out here. So no complaints.
Awesome. Awesome. Well,
But
great to see you there.
hey, great to see you, man. And what's the movie we're doing?
So today's movie is the 2016 Tony Elliott movie, a name probably none of you have ever heard of. I certainly hadn't.
No, I hadn't.
ARQ. Now, I'm pronouncing it ARQ. I'm not exactly sure if that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah,
The name is ARQ.
yeah.
So
I was
ARQ,
calling it ARQ until they started. I was watching it, and they kept calling it the Ark, the machine. So,
yeah. Lisa, my wife, Lisa, she asked me, "Oh, well, what's the meaning of ARQ?" I'm like, it has almost no meaning in
yeah,
relationship to the movie.
yeah. I'm sure it's an anagram for something, but I
It
don't know
is
what.
actually.
Yeah.
It stands for, it's an actual thing in communication technology. It stands for automatic repeat request.
Okay.
So if a transmission is sent, but the receiver doesn't quite get it for whatever reason,
Yeah.
it it automatically repeats the request for that message.
Right. Which is
So
quite fitting for this movie.
I don't know why they chose that,
Yeah.
but it does actually have a meaning. So when I was doing research for this movie and Googling ARQ, I
Yeah.
would get so much technical stuff that had nothing to do with this movie.
Oh yeah. 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 Well, I'm sure there's plenty of science geeks that will can get really deep into what is going on and how it's going on and everything. But basically the guy's caught in a time loop, which I
Yeah.
was not at all sure that's what the plot was, but
So this was my choice.
yeah.
And as you should know by now, if it involves a time loop, if it involves time loops, other dimensions, multiverses, I'm all about it.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
funny because right before I started doing this, I was talking to my friend Erica, and she said, "So what one are you doing?" And I said, "ARQ, ARC." And I told her, I said, "It's animation," and I said, I kind of like really didn't know anything about it until I watched it, and I told her it was a time loop, and she went, "Oh, I love those kind of." So you're not alone. You're definitely not alone.
oh, and this will not be the last one I pick.
Yeah.
But so for those of you following along at home, the story is about this guy who has invented this perpetual motion machine or perpetual energy machine,
Yeah, perpetual energy machine, I guess.
and he is attacked. The reasons are varied and confusing,
Yeah, yeah,
but ultimately during this home invasion,
yeah,
he goes into a time loop where everyone in the house goes into a time loop. And so they will come in, he will eventually die in the first few loops,
yeah.
and then he will wake up at the same time.
Well, it appeared his death was central to it restarting. I guess, or I mean, I don't know whether it was it the 9 minutes because it was apparently it was
Yeah.
like
So I gotta say,
yeah,
like, one of the reasons I chose this movie, number one, time loop, love time loops.
yeah, oh yeah,
Number two, it's 4th of July week. You're on vacation.
yeah,
Everyone I know is on vacation. I did not want to choose a great movie with a lot to discuss.
yeah, yeah,
This is like about as simple and bare bones as they come.
yeah.
It's a fun little sci-fi action.
Well, and it was, and I had never seen it. I had never seen the movie before. It was my first my first run at this one, my first rodeo. And I definitely, you told me it was animated, and I started watching it, and I'm watching the movie, and I'm thinking this is an animation. Um,
Did I tell you it was animated?
yeah,
Because I
I
can't
thought you did.
imagine.
Yeah, I thought you did, but it's quite a movie, and I got sucked right in as soon as started watching it.
And that's one of the things I love about it is like it starts like that.
Yeah,
There's no groundwork. And granted, it is full of plot holes.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But it's just mindless fun.
yeah, yeah. No, and as soon as I realized the whole time loop thing was involved, that those kind of movies can be tedious and fun, and
Yes.
if they're done wrong, they can be tedious. And
Mhm.
if they're done right, which I think this one was, it becomes a lot of fun. And again, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. First time watching it, it was it was I'll watch it again. I know that.
Yeah, I think it's a really fun movie.
Yeah, yeah. And again, again, it threw me a little bit, just because watching it, how each time you see a new loop in the time warp, you learn something new too about the characters, and
Hmm.
who's the bad guy and who's the worst guy, and and who's in collusion with who, and all that stuff. So yeah, it's great fun.
It's a time loop done in such a way that normally with Groundhog Day, the only person that realized they were in a time loop was the main character, Bill Murray.
Right.
And that's pretty common.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, in this movie, the main character, who is Renton, played by Robbie Amell,
Yeah.
he realizes that, but then after a few loops, other people slowly start realizing it as well.
Yeah.
And so I feel that puts a new wrinkle on the time loop story.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's the other thing too, like I said, it's um the whole thing with the machine, and whether or not the machine is going to get cut off, whether there's there's a lot of stuff with this that I don't know, like I said, I found it fun to found it fun to just see the way that they set the whole thing up, and the danger of whether they were going to shut it off or whether somebody else was going to shut it off, because because that's the other thing, is the one real bad guy, he's actually like the big key threat, the one that's the merc.
Yeah,
He's the
Sonny.
yes, the mercenary, and again, like I said, once you throw him into the mix, it's like, oh no, it's because he was obviously altering some of the stuff that they were doing, and so again, there was always the unknown factor of, are we gonna are we gonna end up having a character die permanently or something. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course there was the whole thing. One of the big problems with this one was the struggle between the two main characters, the guy and the girl. Um, she wanted that machine to go to this rebel squad. Yeah, there's the bad guy behind you.
There's Sonny right there. That's
Yes,
Sean Benson,
who
who
did a great.
actually has been on The Boys. I don't know if you know the television series The Boys.
I know it. I don't. I know it only really by name and plot. I don't really know. It's not something I've watched, so I can't really.
But anyway, I try to find things the actors have been on that people would know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, great bad guy. He certainly he certainly did that. But yeah, the part of the whole, plot with this that was causing so much of the turmoil and fight was her reluctance to just see that machine shut down, especially once she realized what it was. When she
Mhm.
realized, wow, this thing's actually like a perpetual energy machine that can really help out the remaining, because this is a post-apocalyptic world where I don't
I
know
don't
what.
know. No, because there's still a functioning government. There are still
Yeah,
corporations. It's not post-apocalyptic. I'm like cutting hairs here. I'm
you
splitting
are
hairs.
because there
It's
was.
dystopian.
Yeah, it's well,
Dystopian, but not post-apocalyptic.
okay, well, I'll give you that. I'll give you that much. But I mean, behind them is destroyed cities. The air isn't safe to really breathe without filters. It's much worse than ours is right now. Let's put it that way. But
This is true.
for all of our our fighting about climate and stuff like that, it's worse in this world. In this world. So not to say that it's not going that way, but still. So yeah, like I said, her 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 challenge to him is let's try to get this to humanity and try to give humanity something that they can use to actually help save the plight of the people. But she's the big rebel, he's not. And of course, over time, after like several dozen, because actually that's the other crazy thing that they realize is how many times they don't realize at first how many times the time is looped.
Yep.
And when they start realizing, oh my God, we actually have done this thousands of times, that's when it gets crazy.
Yeah,
And
that realization is what made the movie for me.
yes, yes, and the fact that they realize it like late in the game, and that's when he finally decides we do need to. I need to listen to her. She's right, and so yeah, that changes everything. But of course, by the time they realize that, and that's another one of the intriguing parts of this, because at first only he knows that he's that the time is looping, and then gradually she begins to realize it, and then one of the other rebels begins to realize it, and it starts. What was the deal? It was like depending on how far away from the machine you were, or
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It was your proximity to the machine that those closest to the machine realized the time loop earliest.
right, right. So and that was another intriguing thing about it. And then of course when the bad guy realizes that's when it really gets interesting, because now he's plotting to when they loop back in time, he's planning things like they are doing. It becomes a real chess game, and that's one of the fun things of this movie.
Yeah, they do time loops in a way that it's hard to find fault with. Like time loops often collapse upon their own convoluted logic.
Right, right.
And this one changes the game enough each time that it's hard to find fault with it, and you kind of have to just turn off your mind and go along with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think it's easy enough to go along with it because they do a great job of pulling you into the plot
Mhm.
and dragging you along to whatever's happening for each loop. It's actually a pretty fun movie. I mean, I
It's
highly
almost
recommend it.
nonstop action.
Yeah, I do. I highly recommend the movie. I mean, we always have a little bit of a difference of opinion, to a certain degree. But for
Mhm.
this one, for me, I don't know, where you were at on rating, but I definitely recommend two thumbs up. So
It's hard for me to say if you're looking if you're looking for a really good movie, if you're looking for any substance whatsoever, this is not the movie for you. But
well,
this
I mean,
movie is,
yeah,
to me, is unadulterated fun.
yeah, it is, and maybe the character, the characters aren't like super fleshed out, but there's enough there. I mean, you find out plenty about the characters. Obviously, the guy and the girl had a relationship. They were separated. She was captured, I guess, by government forces and tortured
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
supposedly turned by or was it the rebels actually that had captured her because
No,
uh
no, it was Taurus.
okay,
The
yeah, because
people
I
he
know
was
she'd been
working
heavily
for.
tortured.
Yeah.
Well, the big question was because she was with rebels and she had apparently taken up with another guy, and she felt that the main character there had abandoned her, um, and so she was really hell bent on revenge. Now, I think the only thing that they came in for, he had all these credits in his safe, and I think that's what they were initially after until
That's what they were initially
yeah,
after. However, the only reason that organization Taurus would have put in professional mercs into the group
right.
is because they knew about the machine.
Right, right. So there was more there than meets the because actually it turned out there were two mercs, right?
Right.
Originally they didn't know there was a merc in there. And then once they realized there was a mercenary in there, all of a sudden they realized, oh, there's a second. So and that added to the plot. And again, that was one of the fun things that I found was because first they're thinking, okay, well, we need to take this guy out, and when they go to take him out, that's when the factor of the the second merc comes into play because it's like, oh, there's two of them. So again, that's one of the reasons why they keep getting killed, and
Yeah, well,
it's so
I mean, at the very start of the movie,
yeah,
one of the mercs is already dead.
that's true, and then that changes later because yeah,
Right.
at first he gets killed by the machine. In the later ones, after the first or the main mercenary, when he figures it out, he tells the other guy, "Don't touch that, don't touch the machine," because that's what was killing the guy at the start. So yeah, that like I said, I found I found just the way this rolls. I found it completely fun. Completely entertaining and fun. It's just so it's definitely high on my
I,
list.
I'm glad you like it. Again, I will stand by. I like this movie because it's fun. It's action oriented. It is not. It's not going to be winning any Oscars.
No, no,
Almost
no.
everyone
And
here,
in fact, it did. So
everyone involved, or everyone I know of involved with this movie, is primarily television talent.
right, right,
So the writer and director is Tony Elliott,
yeah,
who is probably better known for Orphan Black,
right, right, right.
which I
Uh,
found an amazing piece of television, but still, it's television.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with television when it's done right.
Oh, right.
There's been amazing TV shows that have blown me away.
Hmm.
I got into, and I know you're not always into some of the same ones that I have been, but I was into Lost. I thought Lost was a great TV series.
Boss was amazing.
It was pretty amazing, and that was talking about time loops. There is a certain
Yep.
amount of that involved, but there's also, and again, like I said, I know you said The Sopranos, which I want to slap you for, but you said The Sopranos was not one of your favorites, but which I love The Sopranos, and I think that was done. It was to me, The Sopranos was like watching a movie every week, or seeing parts of a movie every week that just never ended. Um, that was to me that was like high quality television at its best, and then you've got things like Game of Thrones, and so I which again I don't know where you stand on that one, but I thought it was very good. So but when it's done well, television can be
Oh
on
yeah, yeah.
par.
I thought Orphan Black was an amazing piece of television.
See, I haven't gotten into that yet. I haven't touched Orphan Black yet. I mean, I know people have, told, you've got to see Orphan Black, but I just haven't gotten around to it. There's
And
too
there's
much
so
good
much
TV.
television to see.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just got me into Resident Alien. It's uh, that
Indeed.
one. I mean, now I want more of that. And apparently,
Okay, talk about digressing.
yeah.
Resident Alien just got approved for a season 4.
Oh, did it? Okay. Well, I'm happy.
USA is picking it up.
You made my 4th of July holiday. So, and by the way, everyone, we haven't really this when this airs, it'll already be over. So, but happy 4th of July.
Yep.
It's we're going to be running a little late on that. So, but happy 4th of July to everyone that you'll be seeing it a few days after. But we're I'm celebrating it out here in Ohio, and we got plenty of fireworks. Yeah. No, like I said, as far as TV series, Resident Alien was definitely one you got me into, Dom, and it's terrific. Anyone that hasn't seen Resident Alien, it's a lot of fun. It's very funny. Um, crazy plot with some really insane characters, and just the dialogue is funny. So all I can say is I think like season 1 is stellar. It's really good. And then season 2, I found a little bit less so, but it picked right back up in season 3. And even season 2, I mean, I was laughing at my butt off at certain parts of it. So it's all
Yeah,
good. So yeah.
every show has ups and downs, but for
Oh
the
yeah.
most part, it's been consistently enjoyable.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we recommend that one. We're getting a little off track talking about it,
Getting,
but it's so
we're getting
good.
way off track, but
Yeah,
hey, this is for us. We're enjoying what we talk about.
exactly. Exactly. This is our this is our little red wagon. So but
And I'm gonna bring it back to the movie, but we are gonna have to do a television episode.
absolutely. Yeah, I think there's enough TV out there. There's certainly some that we should be talking about. And I wouldn't mind doing a Resident Alien one.
Yep.
Um, and if anybody wants to leave in the comments, if they've got a particular TV show that they're really into, hopefully something that's cool and funky, and this would be fun to try to break down a little bit. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't care.
we've said suggest movies, but you know what? We love TV as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Our thing is we're movie nuts. So when it comes to talking about film, that's a given. Every week, we're just film nuts. So we want to talk about that. But as far as TV, if you got a particular TV show you really want to break down or have us discuss, we'll do that. But yeah, getting back to this again, Dom, great pick. And I was with it till the very end, and I actually liked the fade to black at the end. And
Yeah.
it wasn't a cheap fade to black. It was one that it left you thinking a little, but
Mhm.
it was still like a really like, okay, that was cool.
No, I gotta say, reading reviews, that ending annoyed a lot of viewers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm sure it did. There's a lot. Well, there's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people that don't that do not like those open ended. And I don't see. That's the thing is, I don't want to really spoil the ending, but I don't feel that was like too open ending. To me, it was satisfying enough that um you kind of you kind of were left with a little bit of question in your mind, but not so much that you were like, oh no, like they ended it like that. What happened?
Good.
So no, like I said, it was resolved enough for me. Let's put it that way. But but any other trivia on this one
You
or
know, for being what I call a mindless movie,
yeah,
they had so many little Easter eggs, so many references.
Yeah.
For instance, uh, at one point, the main character, played by Robbie Amell,
Yeah.
explains how that time is looping every 3 hours, 14 minutes, and 15 seconds.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you are a math geek, you instantly know what 31415 means.
Okay. And
That's pi.
oh, okay. All right.
So pi is it's an endlessly repeating number. You can never reach the end, but to the first few digits, the value of pi is 3.1415.
Right.
So they've got that. There's a Nietzsche quote somewhere in there, I recall. Sonny, the bad guy,
Yeah. I don't
when
remember the Nietzsche quote. I'm a huge Nietzsche fan,
it,
but
it's it's done in the background. You know how they're watching television in the background?
yeah.
At one point, someone speaking quotes Nietzsche.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I missed it, but I'm not surprised. So I'm sorry, what was the other thing you were saying for?
And then when the bad guy, Sonny,
Yeah.
calls in, he mentions Operation River Run.
Okay. Yeah.
And evidently that is a reference to James Joyce's work, Finnegan's Wake.
Okay. All right.
So Finnegan's Wake is supposed to be a story that endlessly repeats.
Yeah. Yeah.
That,
But at the same time, that was obscure for me. I
well,
didn't
and that's the thing, like for
yeah.
something that I still call mindless,
Yeah. Well,
they
I mean,
throw so many things into it.
yeah. I I, I don't know. I almost if like if I've been watching the movie with you and you started saying, "Oh, that's probably from Vinny," I would have been like, "No, it's not. That's not like that's not what why they named it that." But but now that you say it as a trivia thing, that yeah, I guess it is. But but it's obscure. It's I mean it's cool, but it's an obscure leap. So, but no, like I said, I definitely all I can really say, I don't have a whole lot more to add other than to say this was a fun one.
Yep, it's totally, and that's the thing. It's there's not a lot to talk about.
No, no, but
It's just simple enjoyment.
highly recommended. And again, if anyone has not seen this movie, if you're at all into sci-fi and especially ones that do have a little bit of a loop factor, involved, and there are some fun ones out there. You've pulled up a couple for us that we've talked about. Um, definitely check it out. You'll definitely be entertained, and you're sometimes even on the edge of your seat with some of the plot line, but for sure. But yeah, like I said, two thumbs up for me.
Yep, two thumbs up for me. Again, hopefully you're not looking for something too complex. It's just a
Yeah,
freaking fun movie.
yeah, yep, yep, absolutely. Good action, good fun. Even a little bit of romance. They don't have a whole lot of time for romance. They're too busy trying to stay alive, but and get out of the mess they're in. But but yeah, it's definitely one that that I mean, not only are you tense and suspense, but you're wondering like what's how are they going to get out of this one, and they keep having something pop up that throws them just when they figure like okay we can figure it out this way, we can do this. It's like some new little factor pops up and they go oh shit we didn't realize. you know so yeah, that was I mean everything from the guy calling in the backup troops and you know thinking that they can just shut well for him because he wanted to shut the machine down, destroy it, and she keeps telling him, and that gets in because there's a couple of the loops that happen. Um, she's like, "No, you're not shutting the machine down," and she actually tries to thwart him when he tries to do that. So it's not really till the very end that he actually is looking at her and saying, okay, I get it. I wanna, I wanna actually try to, get this thing into rebel hands so that we can actually, save this machine and help mankind. But, but I mean, he's right to the, almost to the very end. He's fighting her on that. So, but that's the bitter fight.
Yeah, and it's like, again, there are tremendous plot holes. And
Yeah.
I keep wondering, like, yeah, okay, this is a guy that invents a perpetual energy machine
Yeah.
and keeps cyanide gas grenades
Oh yeah. Yeah.
just lying
Yeah.
around his house.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was one of the things. That was one of the things because he kept trying to use those too. And I think he only like one time successfully gets the things off, but it's like, really, dude? That's, you know, that was the other thing is I don't know that I trust how quickly cyanide gas disperses and becomes, the air becomes safe. Because at one point he was like, okay, yeah, it's safe now. And I'm thinking to myself, I wouldn't take that off. I wouldn't take that off for weeks. but
Well, I
no,
mean,
like I
also,
said,
I would imagine there's some skin absorption. I.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, they weren't exactly in protective suits. They're wearing, they're wearing respirators, but it's not enough to me, not to me anyway. That's
So
toxic
again, it's a
stuff.
movie that if you really start thinking about, a lot of pieces fall apart.
Oh yeah, yeah. But again, fun, definitely a fun movie, and yeah, I think we kind of, I think we kind of summed it up though.
No,
Um,
and that's sort of the best part. It sort of reinforces the fact
yeah,
of how simplistic this movie is.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
not a lot of moving parts.
No, nope. And it's again, it's it's one of those, it's one of those ones. Watch it for fun. It's absolutely pure fun, and
Hmm.
the movie is pretty straightforward sci-fi fun. So,
Hmm.
yep,
Yep,
we're
it's on Netflix as shown behind you.
yep,
So if you've got access to Netflix, it's free.
yeah, yep. So, yep, and all I can say, folks, is we'll be back next week. Please leave a like and subscribe.
Yep.
And
Hope your 4th of July was great.
yeah, yep. And for us, we haven't experienced it yet because it's happening tomorrow for us. But when you see this, of course it'll be over. But and so having said that, Dom, you have a great 4th because
You too, man.
our 4th is tomorrow. But we'll be back again next week, and we hope to bring you another fun, entertaining one. So
Yeah,
Dom,
it's your pick, man.
yeah, yeah, it's the pressure's on me to next week. So we'll see what I come up with. But once again, thank you guys. Thank you for looking in. Please leave that like and subscribe. We need your support. And we'll see you again next week.
We'll see you
So,
next week, as
yeah.
always.
All right, man. Take care.